Back there. Hey, you can do it. You survived? Okay. Yeah, why is that so hard? I didn't know.
trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Item 1, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion. I'll say on that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You put me under, go ahead and pretty much. I'd like to bring up 2 or 3 of those quick issues to the council. And also I would like to, I personally to make a public apology for something that happened.
On the number, where you want to put it after the city engineer's report?
That'll be fine, because part of it includes it.
Okay. You want to go ahead and discuss, give us a little.
Yes, sir. I want
about.
to discuss 2 pieces of property. A piece of property that's wants to be donated to the city, and another piece of property, 2 is actually 3. 1 to be donated, and 2 to be sold to the city. That'll be combined with some property that we already own. That's been offered to us.
4A and 4B.
Got it from 4A and 4B.
4B, right after the city engineer's report.
Correct.
All right, I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Torrey, second by Ms. Anita.
No,
Mr. Danny, I'm
Yeah, I'll
sorry.
say.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Item 2, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 11th, 2025.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Carl, second by Mr. Torrey. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Item 3, delegation. Anybody wants to address the council and myself at this time? 5-minute limit. Anybody? All right. Number 4, city engineer's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I've got a pretty brief report tonight, and I'll just touch base on some changes from our last meeting or some updates. The first one is our water sector project. That's our sewer project. We are waiting for some materials to come in for the contractor to really begin work, but in the meantime, we asked him to mobilize and reconstruct a manhole in the back of a property along Lee Street. He's done that. It's complete. I'll pass 2 pictures around for y'all, but before I do that, I'll talk about our the next item on my agenda here is, at the last meeting, y'all approved doing some sewer work in the area of Foster Drive, Ridge Street, Tarleton Street, and Barrel Street. And what we were going to do there, we were going to go in and clean and inspect the sewer lines and the manholes. And then there was one manhole in particular that we wanted to address immediately. We've done that. The contractor went, replaced it, and that work is complete. So these are the 2 manholes that were replaced. Not much to see. You can just pass those down. Next item on my list here is our 452 DOTD project. That's where we have to relocate our utilities. That project began advertisement June 27th, and we have a bid date of July 23rd. So that's the one where DOTD is going to do the drainage work. We've got to move our utilities out the way. Again, we're going to receive bids on that scheduled for July 23rd.
Marcus, that'll be week after next. Now, we're going to have a special meeting to approve, so we can keep it rolling.
If y'all want to go ahead and have one, then we have to, that's no problem.
Okay. And typically, we receive the bids, we tabulate them. It takes us about 2 or 3 days. We get everything ready, and then in that meantime, I can schedule, get with Greg and see if we can schedule a special meeting. I'll make note of that. All right, then last on my list is our street project. At the last meeting, you guys approved us proceeding with the LCDB Street Improvements Project. That's a grant that you guys received. We're working on the design. We've done our survey, which is our field work. That's complete, and now we're just putting together our plans and specs, and we'll have to submit those to the state for approval. That's all I have.
LWI update?
The LWI, we're working on our H&H analysis. I think right now we're scheduled to have all of that done in November. So submitted, if I remember right, let's see, I have it on my list. Expected 8-day completion date, December 2025.
What we have with Andrew Street?
Andrew Street, the drainage at the intersection. The utilities have been relocated, AT&T and the gas company. I think the gas company just finished up a couple weeks ago. I think our plan right now is to see where this DOTD project comes in. You know, if we get lucky, maybe we don't need the total amount, and then from there we can, I think that would put us in a better position to spend money on that project, or do we need to hold off for a little time?
Marcus spoke about this. Everything is complete for that project, but I asked him to hold off on 452 to see how much it come in at, and then we can do this project. We already have the covers and everything. It's just getting somebody to get started.
Now look, I don't know that we can use the money that's been allocated for the 452 project anywhere we want. If these bids come in well under our estimate, and we see there's some extra money there, we can ask the question to the right agencies.
Craig, can you answer that?
Thank you, Mark. Sir?
No, I was asking Craig if
I
he can
can
answer.
reach out to Foley Engineer, but I don't see a problem with it.
Okay.
Should we wait on the 450, on the drainage and management?
Okay.
But I'll reach out to him. I think we can, if we have funds available.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it would be, it's a little early right now. I mean,
Should
bids
we
can
wait
come
and
in
ask
one way
that
or the other.
question after?
Oh, yeah.
But Marcus, like you said, we wait and ask the question, but the companies that are bidding to do the rerouting, can they bid on this? I mean, or do they do the same type of work?
Most of them.
So, Rondell, help me out here. We gonna submit it to them too to do the other part, or somebody else?
Depending on what Marcus draws. And they plan, maybe the city can do some of this work.
Okay.
It's just installing the cover, so that may save us some money. If I
Yeah.
see where it's expensive, that's why I want to wait till it's 452 to see how much
Right.
it is when it's 452.
And because it's such a small project, it's not an extensive bid process. It's calling a few contractors, getting some prices, and going with the, you know, the lowest one or whoever thinks best suited for the project. All right, thank you.
All right, 4A,
All right, man.
Mr. Denny?
Yes, sir. First of all, I would like to thank the Tunica Biloxi Tribe Council and the Paragon Casino for the significant donation they gave us towards the fireworks this year for the 4th of July. I'm quite sure the fire department appreciated it too towards their budget. Secondly, on last week, the 2nd of July, which was last Wednesday, there was an incident at one of our local businesses involved my daughter. And being a father, I reacted in a way I shouldn't have and said some things that I shouldn't have. And I'd like to make a public apology to the business. I'm not going to call their name. I said some things I shouldn't have, but acting as a father, not being professional, and I did something I shouldn't have done. And I would like to give my sincere apology to that business and hope they accept it. I've also written them a apology letter and signed and everything. And it was supposed to be delivered on yesterday, if he could, by our DA himself, Mr. Ripper. Going forward, I don't want to make that mistake again. Like I said, I'd like to apologize to the business and the public and whoever was there at the time it happened. Next thing I have is,
What did you do that shouldn't have happened?
I'm sorry.
Is there anything in particular that you'd like to share that shouldn't
You know,
have happened?
that's why I say I used some language and said some things I shouldn't have. I'm not understand what you asked. Say what I said.
I just wanted to know if there was going to be any details provided or if it was just
Well, I
going
was
to be.
trying to apologize, but I didn't want to bring up the business name or anything like that. Would you prefer that?
You can, Mr. Denny. I mean, I appreciate you being man up to go ahead and come in and apologize.
It was actually at the nail shop on Acton Road. cop. Well, you were there, Ms. Jen. What's the name of it? The actual name. Kaylee's nail shop. Some things happened there, the way they treated my daughter. She called, and when I went back there to get it, like I said, being a father, and I told the guy, hey, the owner, you know, you have a business license up here. How would you like if I called and have one for the way you treat my daughter? And he said, in the language I said it, you know, I guess to anybody being my size and talking that way, you know, kind of intimidated them or whatever. Like I said, I did write out a letter of apology. Mr. Riddle was going to deliver it for me. I told the guy, hey, give me my money back for what, you know, he charged me. He did that, but I also made a money order, have a copy of it, and gave to Mr. Riddle also to return the money. And I'm being man enough to apologize in the meeting to the public, on the radio, and whatever else needs to be done. And I hope he accepts my apology. Is that what you were asking me, Ms. Jenny?
I do not want to hijack your meeting, but that is a complete mischaracterization of what I saw occur in there. I witnessed you commit multiple crimes, and the way you treated those people was terrible.
Right.
And when you got what you wanted, when you intimidated them into giving you money, it was still not enough, and you went back and told him, I can take that occupational license. I don't like telling people who I am, but I can shut your business down. And that was inappropriate. And I had no idea who you were,
Right.
much less that you sat on the council. And that was completely inappropriate.
Right. And that's why, what I just said, you know, about the license situation and whatever. That's why I'm saying I'm apologizing to them for everything that I did and acting as a father. When you pull up to a business and your daughter is outside crying and she tells you what happens, I think as any father, besides being whatever, you know, on the council or Senate or VA or whatever, I'm just using those examples. And, you know, your reaction is, that's not the window at the time. And I'm strictly and I'm truly apologizing to him. I even offered to go back to the business and apologize in person, but that wasn't recommended. Just write the letter and do a public apology or whatever. So I agreed to do everything, and I made a mistake. That's not me. I'm not that type of person. I deal with people every day. I'm not that type of person to do that. I mean, I give a person shirt off my back, and I'm not that type of person at all.
And I sincerely hope not. And my intent is not to embarrass you or cause a problem, but it is to bring attention to it.
Right.
Because if this is an ongoing issue, it needs to stop.
It's not an ongoing issue, and that's the first time I ever did it. And like I said, I don't tell people who I am, and I don't tell people what I do for a living. A lot of people don't know what I do. I got this shirt on because I just left work, but I don't. A lot of people don't know what I do for a living. A lot of people don't know I'm on this council because I don't tell people that, and I don't use that as an authority. I mean, I've gotten pulled over for speeding tickets, and the first thing the trooper asks is, "What do you do for a living?" I just start laughing. You know, I don't even tell them. That's just me. I'm a private person, and like I said, I'm very sorry. And if I'm embarrassed, I'm embarrassed, and it's my fault. I brought it it happened to me. I brought this on to myself, and I'm sorry, and I apologize to you. Like I said, I apologize to you personally, and I apologize to anyone that's in here that was in the nail shop at that time.
Okay.
I'm asking if you have anything else to say. Thank you, and I apologize again, Ms. Reed. I apologize for you too. I know you weren't there, but you were part of her team, and I apologize for you too. And you too, Councilman John.
Yes.
You're part of her team also, and I apologize to you too. Next thing is, there's some property on Tunica next to Capital One Bank that's owned by Mr. Johnny Regards. And Mr. Johnny is wanting to donate the pond itself to the City of Marksville. The rest of the property is a possibility of business owning it or purchasing it from him. But the pond, they don't need or anything like that. So from the pond to the back gate, he would like to donate it to the City of Marksville. We've asked Marcus, our engineer, to look into it and maybe make it out of a little recreational area with the pond. Like put some benches, barbecue pits, something like that. I'm sorry.
Fishing.
Oh, yeah, a little fishing area or whatever. The access to it will be, they have a gate, and John's going to have to look into it to clarify. But there's a gate on Vita Street that access to that pond, and there's another opening, if I'm not mistaken, when I kind of looked at it. To the back of the bank is more on, is it towards Mr. Riddle's property back there? That property you just bought for that B&B?
Yes. Yeah, it's up against his
Oh, up
property.
against. So the main access probably would be Vita, I guess, once John's going to look into it. But I'm bringing it to the council. It was brought to my attention. There's no charge to us at all. He's willing to donate it. He's here tonight to give us the property. And we spoke to Mr. Jonathan to look into it, to see what can be done. He's willing to draw up something and look at grants to develop something out of it.
And just to add to that, I did talk, Marcus sent me a picture of it, and I did take a very brief look at it on the assessor's maps. The only potential problem that I would see is it looks like there's no access to the public road. It looks like that property is owned by the Marksville Housing Authority, but all we would have to do is get a legal access from the Housing Authority, which I don't think would be a problem.
Also, wait a minute.
We currently have 3 walking tracks in town. We have one behind the hospital, we have one right there by the Pizza Hut, and we have one by the Baptist Church, Reverend Gilroy's church. They are walking tracks. This year with this pond, we could go ahead, and I've asked Marcus to go ahead and look further into it to possibly get a grant that we could go ahead and have a place of recreation where people could go fish. We could put some barbecue pits out there where they could go on the weekends and barbecue and give them a place to go and fish rather than have to go to Spring Bayou, Red River, and everything would be there. And it's local, and I think it would be convenient. And then also, I think the people that are interested in buying the property to develop a business, they're not interested in the pond. So that's one of the, I think that's one of the things that is not holding up the deal, but not to move forward with knowing what they would do with the pond. So they want to give property to us. I think it's a win-win for us, and it's a win-win for the community if a business comes and opens there and employs a whole bunch of people that'll help out the economy of the town. So,
Mayor, I would like to, I'm sorry, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the donation from Mr. Johnny Regards on the pond to the city to make a further recreational area in the future.
And with that being said, I know if we're going to accept this and it's going to be donated by Mr. Rigor, so hopefully we can name it after him, being that he's going to donate it as the Rigor recreational, whatever.
Is that okay with
Something
you,
of that
Mr. Johnny?
I didn't hear.
After if we accept it,
I think he had
Oh, sure.
he wanted to do something.
I'm here on behalf of my family.
Of your mama's name?
The Rigor recreational?
we would name it the Regard Recreational, or you have
Well-
something else you wanted? Stand up, Mr. Regard.
I was born and raised in Marksville. For those of you all who don't know me, my name is John Regard. I was raised with my 2 brothers. We lived on the corner of Wydale and Vita Street for 8 or 10 years, where I went to Presentation Convent. And I fished, swam, and played in that pond multiple years. Then we went around when I started high school, and my dad
pond was made, they used to make brick from the mud of that pond.
Right. The property that we own right now on Tunica was the old T. Jack Johnson brickyard. And they would make bricks right there, and that's how they would make them. They would get the dirt from the pond, and all the bricks that were on the house were made right there on the property. And if you dig down on the property this deep, it's solid brick still. You still have the old bricks. So there's a lot of history there. And I think there's an artesian well there somewhere. It would take a plumber like Mark to locate it, but that would be nice to have.
And so, Mayor, I would ask that we table this vote to give us time to get a clear property description, some pictures of what the property looks like, a weigh-in from legal as well as our insurance company. I mean, I understand Mr. Regard has asked for us to forego the whole liability conversation, but it still remains a conversation.
But we got a motion and a second already, so we can't table it with a motion and a second.
Proceed, Mayor.
Yeah. We got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
May we show of hands, please? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, next one, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Regard.
Yeah, I have one more, Mayor.
Yeah.
As you know, we've talked previous about taking the old fire station down for parking and to put another building for all the paperwork and everything else. And also the fire station, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, they have some rescue boats over here that are kind of in the way and things like that. We've been offered to purchase the two buildings next door to the fire station, the hair shop and the corner lot with the old gas station. The family has reached out, Miss Vanessa, the daughter, has reached out and offered it to the city at a package price. And I think it would help us because we were gonna tear this down and build a building or buy a building, whatever we're gonna do anyway. Have to get two buildings, one for all the paperwork from City Hall, police station, and everywhere. This building is already set up as an office. And the gas station already has the stalls where the boats can be put, right, Chris?
There's a fireworks trailer.
Fireworks trailer and two boats. So it wouldn't really be no extra expense to us just to purchase the property.
And then also at the corner, that's where we put all the sand for people to come during the hurricane or whatever.
Correct.
And you put sandbags there. If we wouldn't buy it, somebody else buys it, I don't know where we'd start
And then
putting
when
the sand.
we would take care of the public with the sand and dirt and things like that. I mean, Rondell, Claude, help me out here. I mean, is there anywhere else we would put that? Because I mean, when we put it there, we putting dump truck loads of it there at one time, and somebody else could come up and say, hey, well, y'all gonna pay us for putting it.
That's why they'd be totally against it.
Right,
the
exactly.
sand there.
Yeah, so that right there, we spend a little money to purchase it, but we also save money because it also has parking. It assists on the parking for here in City Hall, get people off the street, and we don't have to build or put utilities to another existing area and go through permits and everything else when we already got two buildings right here offered to us at a decent price.
Danny, do we have something in writing from the landowner?
She will put it in writing once she's actually here. She's sitting right there. She's a realtor, and she's willing to she gave us a pretty decent price.
No, but I'm not talking about a price. I'm talking about description, appraisal.
Yes, she will give us everything we need.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I would ask that we table that, we table this discussion until we get that information from the landowner.
Because I was about to mention that, that, I'm not saying we can't do it, but by law, we can't pay more than fair market value.
Correct.
So we're gonna need to,
Ms. Vanessa, can you get that paperwork to Mr. Craig for me? And if it's okay with you and the council, rest of the council, when Marcus when we take care of his stuff week after next, we bring it up then? Is it okay with y'all? How soon can you get that information to, I'm sorry, to Mr. Jonathan's office? I'm sorry. John, yeah.
While y'all on that subject,
Mhm.
the property. The city owns some property, some adjudicated property that people
Correct.
have not paid taxes on and we award it back. We need to see about maybe selling those properties.
Mr. Jonathan, me and Mr. Rondell sat down with Mr. Jonathan, and he made his notes. He has it, and some of it, matter of fact, I was gonna ask Mr. Mark later for his vote to give us their part. And the rest of it.
Actually, last night at the
Oh, you
police
did?
jury meeting, there is one particular property that I'm gonna put on, asked to be put on the agenda for next month that needs to be approved for sale. I mean, we're not talking maybe dollars, $4,500 and we get half of it. But yeah, there's adjudicated properties, the police jury has been moving forward, trying to get rid of these things because they're just sitting on the tax roll, we're not getting anything.
Yeah, correct. We had already kind of talked about them, and I think Rondell
Yeah.
went through the list, and there's some more we need
Assessor's
to add to it.
office.
Yeah, the assessor would have all that.
Last year, we didn't get to collect anything, we turned it in too late. So Ms. Anita made a note for this year. I've already turned it all in and when I started doing all the work for it, I found a lot of adjudicated properties. And we had cut grass on, or we needed demo, and some of it was for the city, some of it was for the parish, some of it was for the city and the parish. So I would like to ask y'all, the ones that the parish owns, if they would want to give this to us or sell it and give us half, because all of it is in the city limits. It's nothing out, we had one outside the city limits and we're not even messing with it. Because it's outside the city limits, we even took it off the grants with it being outside the city limits.
And the best approach is to approach the neighbors
Yes.
because they're the ones that are most likely to want to purchase it and it's the easiest legal process.
And Jonathan, as you know, when me and Rondell spoke to you, like you just said, approach the neighbors. A couple of them, we had the names already.
Yeah.
For the neighbors that want to purchase.
Right.
So as far as selling it, it'll be like blinking your eye because.
Well, the
you
one
just
last
gotta
night's
get
on
it.
Acton Road, what's his name, Mark? Carmouche, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one that was adjudicated 50% to the city, 50% to the parish. So we'll be able to get rid of that one too.
Yeah, we got some of them on Bruyette that the neighbors want. They pretty much sold, just waiting on the paperwork.
So are they, I mean, is any of this publicized?
Well, it will be publicized.
Well, see, that's why I mentioned offering to the neighbor, because when it's a neighbor, you can bypass a lot of the advertising requirements, and there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. You're selling it to somebody in the general public, but a neighbor, you can expedite the process.
Right. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, move on.
Miss Anita got something, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I made a note at our meeting in January 8th, 2025, our city council meeting, whereby we were to ask the Chamber of Commerce to come up within 3 months as to plans for that historic building.
Yes.
And I was just wondering if we ever heard back from them.
I didn't hear anything from Miss Anita, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the city can still go ahead and tear it down. It was a historical site, but it's not through that road or anything. I think it was done through the historic district in Marksville.
Well, can you check that out? We're gonna have a special meeting, it'll be on,
Yeah.
we'll put it for the special meeting and we'll go ahead and go, do we gotta do with that?
Marcus, can you look into it with Rondell on that?
It's been 7 months.
Okay, item 5.
Mayor. I wanted to talk about these vacant houses around Marksville. And specifically, one of them is right next to my grandmother's house. And between the house and the store, it's a lot of activity going on. I'm not sure, but I had to call the police several times to get this spot checked out. And I'm trying to push for this house to get torn down. And I know it's a process. This abandoned house is, every time I see it, there's like several different people in there, and you know, God knows what they're doing, and I just don't like that. And I got two, senior citizens that live in the house.
The address, is that house on the list then, to be torn down?
Yeah, that's the house that you called me about the other day. I'm not gonna give the address.
What street? Yeah.
He called.
They didn't even get out to inspect it.
Yeah, Marcus.
Marcus has it on the list.
I think it's on the list.
Monday.
We eventually put
What
it on.
street we talking about? Just give me the street.
It's Mark
Street, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so he has to do the inspection and
But
everything.
have y'all sent the letters to the people?
We
Miss
have
Marlene?
to do an inspection first, and then we're gonna send the letters out.
First step is the inspection.
Yeah, we didn't even get, and I spoke to this young man here, he called me, and I told him, if you have a problem, just keep calling the police, because right now, we really can't do nothing until we get the inspection done.
Right. I instructed him the same way, Mayor, that you call the police. That helps the process as part of the situation.
But it's gonna be taken care of.
That's all I need to know.
Mr. Johnson? Blake, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. If y'all could grab the proposal, turn to the 5th page to the premium summary. We recently just had the renewal for the city of Marksville for their commercial property, the inland marine, which is some equipment, and the commercial auto liability. And I'll give you a second to look at the premium and what they did for the renewal.
You said premium summary, right?
Yeah, the premium summary page. So what's influencing the premium still is the previous loss history that we've had with the city of Marksville. We had a claim over the past couple of years. It was with the municipal association, with the municipal risk. Last year at renewal, that claim was at $518,000. Currently at renewal, this claim was over $1 million. We had another claim last year that was at, and this is on auto, was at $120,000. The renewal, that claims up to $345,000. And the reason why I mention those things is that your prior loss history, they're looking 5 and 10 years back on a lot of these. Those are all factors that play into account for your premium and also to your self-insured retention. The city of Marksville in the last 3 years has made huge strides and has gotten a lot better. This past policy term, we've had a total of 2 claims. We had one last July, right after renewal, and then we had one a couple weeks ago. So we're definitely improving. And before I've written this account, when y'all were with the municipal association, we're averaging about 20 claims a year. And so we're heading in the right direction. I would really like us to see to get that number to 0. Anytime we have any kind of collision of any sort, there's going to be claims, lawsuits, all that, and it gets expensive. And now with the city's self-insured retention of $275,000, that can get really expensive for the city. But so far the program's worked out as far as like lowering the frequency of the claims and the severity. We did receive suit the other day from the claim in July of 2024, and then I recently filed that other claim that happened a couple weeks ago, and we haven't had any, we just got a letter of representation for that. But that's all I have. This was just an insurance update for you guys to let you know where we're at with everything. And if anybody has any questions or anything, please let me know.
I think when you and I were talking the other day, and I think we need to get with Rondell to get with the city employees, and most of these accidents occurring backing up.
Yes.
So if, and I think you said we need to quit thinking about backing up and just going forward, and it would keep the accidents.
Well, the one in July of 24, we made a left-hand turn in some oncoming traffic in the cycle. It could have been really bad. If it wasn't as bad, the guy's got some injuries. We'll be okay with that. We had the one that happened a couple weeks ago. We were in reverse. We were on the road, and we just started backing up. They couldn't see the vehicle behind them, and they rear-ended it, and they collided with it pretty good. There's some damage on that vehicle. And accidents like that are 100% avoidable. One of the big things that I see with all large exposures like this, where an account has 50 autos plus, like y'all have, is if they can take a procedure, a policy and procedure in place or a resolution where you really don't ever back up, and that goes for police officers or anything, that we have so many accidents on our public entities from people just backing up, or police officers making U-turn, like doing like a U-turn in the road and all that, they'll turn around and they gotta get somebody. We try to discourage that type and doing any type of chases and stuff like that. But just simple things, you know, we haven't had any really high impact collisions here in a while. And if we can just eliminate the small things, like backing up, I think you would really see this account almost get to 0 claims per year.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item 6, Falls Parish Abatement Officer, Mr. Carl.
I invited him here to give some information on exactly what he's doing throughout the parish and what kind of services and advantages he can provide to us here in the city limits.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council. Larry Lemoyne, I'm the litter abatement officer for the Falls Parish Police Jury. So what we've started doing is trying to get municipalities to try to get some litter abatement inside the municipalities, because the law is kind of a gray area with the ordinances. It states that I have parish-wide authority when it comes to writing litter citations, but then when you start looking at state statutes, there's some stuff that kind of conflicts with that. So what we've done is we've drawn up some memorandums of agreement for each municipality to offer our services, my services, at the police jury's expense, to come into the city limits and help with the city cops that already have their hands full and focus specifically on litter throughout the municipalities. With that being said, the municipality officers can still write citations and still have your own city court, whatever. My services, whatever citations I write, go through our Falls Parish Litter Court, and the money stays within the police jury, which pays my salary, the gas that I burn riding around. I'm also working in conjunction right now with the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. I just wrote a $10,000 grant that got approved, and the police jury just purchased $3,000 worth of camera equipment for dump sites, tires. We got illegal dump sites in municipalities, outside municipalities. It's just all over. We're trying to clean them up. We're gonna hopefully get this agent approved to come work with me and teach me how to build, set up, surveil these areas, all the way to writing citations, gross litter and citations. So shutting down a lot of these illegal dump sites that are a big problem, tires specifically in the Falls Parish. Yes, sir.
When you write a ticket and it goes to court, what is it, litter court?
We have a justice of the peace,
Okay.
which has parish-wide authority by the law to try these cases in the police jury litter court, which has all been, they rewrote all the ordinances back before they hired me, and it's all spelled out in those
Well,
ordinances.
my question is, do they actually get fined?
They get fined, oh, trust me, they get fined.
Okay.
And they don't get fixed.
That's what I'm.
And what happens
It's no
is,
use you go through all the trouble, and then when it gets to the abatement court, and they're just let go or
I've got a warning
dismissed or
citation book,
warning.
it's only got 2 warning citations missing out of it, in 9 months.
So Barry,
Right, very many ones.
would you give them the scenario of the cigarette that you told me about?
So last week, I was behind a young lady at the red light by the casino, and she had all the windows down on the vehicle and smoke rolling out, and I'm like, surely she's not gonna throw a cigarette butt out with the litter abatement officer right here behind her. And sure enough, right out the window. So I followed her through town, tried to get outside of the city limits, to stop her and write her a citation, but it's intentional littering. So she turned in at Don's Pharmacy, I pulled it inside of her, and she knew exactly what she had done. And I wrote her a citation, it's gonna cost her $400.
I met with you a couple of times, and we spoke about it, and I mentioned, whatever ordinance that you would have, to bring it forth, and then we'd sign it in total agreement of what you're doing.
So what I see a lot of, guys and ladies, a lot of the municipalities' ordinances are severely outdated. I went to a city council meeting in Cottonport, it's probably been about 3-4 months ago, kind of proposing the same thing. And their ordinances hadn't been updated since the 70s. Ours were updated last year, all right? And they've been signed off on by the district attorney's office. Everything's legal. And basically, the police jury's ordinances mirror the state statutes. So we're not doing anything that the state is already saying is illegal. Okay? So if really and truly in a perfect situation, if all the municipalities would adopt the parish ordinances, we'd have a clear playing field. Everybody would be on the same page. And
One other thing, there was rumor going around that Marksville wasn't paying a portion of your salary, but your salary is paid by the police jury?
my salary comes out of the solid waste fund from the police jury.
So none of the towns come up with any money to go ahead towards your salary?
Which is why, I've had some municipalities say, well, why don't we get a cut of the money? Well, what are you giving us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The police jury's having to pay for my gas.
Right.
I tank of gas every 2 days. They're having to pay my salary. They're having to pay for these cameras. We spent $3,000 on camera material. Thankfully, I got that grant that's going to give us another $10,000 to build cameras. And then, it's just so many other things that the police jury's having to pay for.
But Marksville nor any of the other municipalities are giving anything towards your salary?
Other than you collect the fine money, no matter where the tickets.
I come in and just help your officers deal with the litter problem. I'm just an extra officer out there helping with litter, if you allow me to. And I've got a memorandum of agreement drawn up already. I'll leave it with the attorney, let him look at it.
Okay.
If you guys are good with it, then we'll sign it, we'll get it.
Following the review of the MOU that Mr. Barry is proposing, I'll make a motion for us to execute that agreement to allow the litter abatement officer to participate in Marksville.
Yeah, because we're already under the state statute, as for the litter, anything dealing with the litter and the Louisiana statute codes for it. So we already fall under that. So all we doing is adopting what you have, so I'll second that motion. And just to make something else, another note, when I write these litter citations, half of the money goes to the Justice of the Peace for his court costs and his trial and all that stuff, kind of like a city court. And the other half goes into the litter abatement fund, which is established inside the police jury. That money can only be used for litter abatement type things. They cannot move it to general fund, they cannot move it to roads and bridges. So as this money builds, we may be able to hire more people. We may be able to buy more cameras. Eventually, we're gonna get the litter problem under control in the Falls Branch.
All of that is a good deal. I mean, we don't have to pay anything, so we appreciate it.
Because
Keep doing what you're doing.
I got a motion by Mr. Carl, second by Mr. Torrey.
Yep.
Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Mr. Jonathan, you want to look that over? I've already
Chief,
signed
you
it.
cool with that?
And then I can get it from you.
Okay, that's fine.
Item
Thank y'all.
7, discuss the traffic signal at Main Street and Mark Street. Mr. Carl?
So I've given all of you a picture of the intersection of Mark and Main Street, which is right back here at the courthouse. I've thought for quite some time that traffic signal right there was absolutely useless. And I reached out to DOTD and asked them what their thoughts on it was. And the field supervisor that I spoke to said that he's thought the same thing for a long time as well. I suggested to him or pitched to him that we could replace that traffic signal with either a stop sign, because as we know, Mark Street is a one-way. We could replace that with a single stop sign. He even suggested that we could replace that signal with a caution light. He didn't have a preference either way, but he said that with that stoplight being on a one-way, it really wasn't warranted, but we needed a motion from the council to get it removed. So,
Two things, Mr. Carl. Looking at it, there's two state roads that intersect right there. One coming from, down from Preston Street, coming down here, that's LA1. It used to be LA1, but it's still a state road that never been given to the city. And then you got Main Street that passes in front of the courthouse, another state road. I don't know what the legality is if we can remove
Well, you
traffic
could
signs from a state road.
well, we wouldn't be removing it. It would just be a motion from the city to the DOTD requesting that it be removed.
right. It's not mandatory. It's just a request.
Yeah,
And if they want to do it, they can. do
sure.
So, I mean, and Ms. Anita brought up a good point. As for the vehicles parked on the side of the road, there, would we rather put a three-way stop sign there, or, because whenever vehicles are parked, they're coming to this, to the edge, you can't see.
You can't see.
Well, there's a lot of blind spots all over the place where traffic signals are not in place.
You're right.
Chief, you got some input on that?
Yeah.
Unless y'all put a four-way stop there,
Three-way.
Three-way stop.
Go
It's
ahead.
three-way,
four,
right?
you got,
Chief?
Yeah,
Yes,
four intersections.
but it's one way though.
I understand that.
Okay.
But unless you do that, I wouldn't take that light down, because then you open up a drag strip, right? You got businesses that cross over, the DA's office crosses over. Unless you put stop signs there, don't take that light down.
Chief, we went through that before.
Yeah, we tried it
We tried to take that sign down before, all the light before.
So, Carl, what you would rather do, Carl?
I mean,
We got a motion and a second, I mean,
my question is, you know, is the council in agreement to either have it switched over to a caution light or a stop sign? I mean,
Well, at the same time, I'm like chief is, you got the courthouse there, man. Do you realize how many people walk across that street? And we're gonna take that light down?
I mean, I understand there's a lot of streets that get walked across that we
Yeah, but
don't have stoplights on. I'm just presenting a question. That is all. If the council does not agree with it, then we don't do it.
all right, got a motion and a second.
Would you be in agreement for the three-way?
I would be in agreement to whatever the DOTD finds suitable.
Okay. I'll
Well,
second it.
my deal is, why was there ever a light put there if it wasn't needed? It was put there, I guess, because it was needed, and now we want to take it down.
But
Why was it ever put before,
but we as the city didn't decide that, I'm pretty sure.
you know? All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of forwarding it to DOTD, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'll abstain.
Nay. All right, show of hands. All for sending it to DOT to see if, to further study it, raise your right hand. All opposed? All right. 8, final adoption of the ordinance to annex Kubra property. Mr. Jonathan?
Yeah, this is just one of the final steps in the process that we had brought up quite a while back about annexing the property that was purchased by Lee Pierre Kubra. Part of the process is we already had a public meeting, it's been advertised in the newspaper, and we just have to approve the final ordinance of annexation.
You need a motion for that?
Yes.
I need a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Anita.
I'll second.
Second by, who is, Mr. Dan? Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All right. Item 10, approval for the advertised for the upcoming opening of the Secretary Treasury position, Ms. Anita.
Skip 9.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Appointment of the curator for the demolition of 1061 Main Street.
Yeah, this is one of the demolition properties that we've been talking about. Marcus, correct me if I'm wrong, this is not part of the grant that we received that's on the corner of Main and Lemoyne Street. It's a house that I think the people that live there are deceased. The bank is in the process of foreclosing. There's been a lot of complaints about it. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it'd be a very easy report. But because they are deceased, our ordinance is required that we appoint a curator, just like we had done on the one on Preston Street. The last one, we had Ms. Donahue, who's here. It was appointed, and we're about to finish that process. So I would ask that y'all appoint her again to do the process on this one as well.
Jonathan, can you give me a geographical location of this property?
On the corner of Lemoyne and Main Street.
It's right there before you get to.
I know where it's at.
It's abandoned, it's overgrown. I mean, even whenever the man was alive, there was junk all over the yard.
It's right
Where
across
those
the street from.
lawnmowers and all?
Right.
Yeah,
There's
it's right
a-
across the street from
lawnmowers,
Colonel
I mean,
Jones's house.
it's
Colonel
close,
Jones, right across the street.
It's local.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
I can tell you that the bank's in the process of foreclosing,
Oh, okay.
and it's crickets with her, so
Okay.
we have to go through the process.
So the recommendation was to appoint who?
Jenny Donahue. Our ordinance is required that we appoint an attorney whenever someone is absent, deceased, or they just refuse in service. So we have to go through that process.
And Ms. Donahue's done that before?
She did it, yes, she did it for the last one that we have on Preston Street.
I motion.
I'll make the motion.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Mr. Carl.
Carl.
Made the
I'll
motion,
second it.
second by Mr.
Yeah.
Denny. Any discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Joe,
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Judge.
on the removal of the stoplight, I want to make sure I got this right. Carl made the motion, Torque and second.
One of those.
Okay, and who voted for it?
Me, Miss Anita, and Carl.
For what?
Carl,
The stoplight.
The forward
stop.
to,
Okay.
Yeah, to send to the state to have a discussion.
So Danny, at first you said you abstained, but you voted against it?
Yeah, I abstained from voting against with the light situation.
He abstained and.
So you abstained then?
Voted for, no,
Oh, well, then it passed, okay.
so it passed.
yeah, 3-2. All right, 10, approved to advertise for the upcoming opening of Secretary Treasurer position. Ms. Anita?
Okay, I regret to say that Craig Catrone has informed us that probably the first part of December, he plans to retire. So here we are in July, and we will need to have someone in place so that Craig can spend a couple of months training whoever would be hired to fill that position. So I make a motion that we begin to advertise for this upcoming opening for Secretary Treasurer for the city of Marksville.
Ms. Anita, do we have a job description on that position?
Well, we will come up with something because we will have to publicize that. So Craig can put all of that together because there are multiple duties. Craig, I've been serving for 3 years, and Craig has been so efficient and so helpful. I wouldn't even know where to begin. It will be very lengthy, and it will have to, hopefully we can fill that position, but whoever applies and is interviewed and whoever gets the position will have to spend a couple of months being trained on Craig.
I have a question, can we at least post this in-house first? Can we post it in-house first to see if we have any employees that's already working with us? See if they.
Yeah, but
would
how
like-
many of them, how many people working now have banking experience?
We don't know unless we ask.
Which is gonna be a big plus.
We don't know
Well,
unless
but
we ask.
we have to put out a job description first before we can discredit anyone.
Correct.
Well, you have a
Just
job
say you
description,
put
but
it-
you go ahead and you post it, and whoever wants to apply, even though it's somebody inside, I mean, they still have the right to
Right.
apply.
Bring a resume
Yeah,
and a detailed resume, and in other words, you and Craig and whoever start looking at, going over the resumes, and then go from there, because the resume will tell you a lot of whether they have what you're looking for anyway.
and anybody inside that wants to apply, they have all the rights to
Welcome to
apply.
apply. Sure.
I know that you work at the state, they go inside before they go out. I mean, that, That's part of it. They go inside before they go out. The state, correct? Don't they let their people go in apply first before they go outside? Majority of the time.
No, they'll transfer people from other institutions.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm in agreement with doing it.
It's completely within
Well,
your
like the mayor said, whoever
Whoever wants to
apply, whether they're
can
working
apply.
inside, now them, you know, if they're qualified, then you give them first choice or you know, more meat on their resume if they working for us or.
It's up to you.
So I'll second Ms. Anita's motion pending our approval of the job description.
Okay, we got a motion, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Anita. 11, financial statements and bills for June, Ms. Anita.
Okay, the bills for June 2025. City Hall, $15,029.02. Police, $49,029.30. Fire, $32,646.67. Street, $34,246.06. Beautification, $2,848.80. Total, general fund, $133,799.85. Sewer, $73,898.56. AWC, $69,858. Water, $17,887.27. Total, $161,643.83. Grand total, $295,443.68. I make a motion that these bills be approved for payment.
Motion by Ms. Anita, second by Mr. Denny. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Departmental reports, Mr. Craig, Secretary Treasurer.
sales tax collected for June 2025, $352,574.37. Of that, 1% was $176,287.18. The half percent was $88,143.59. Public safety, $88,143.60. A decrease of 6.7% from May of 2025, when we collected $376,194.65, and an increase of 8.35% from June of 2024, we collected $325,390.11.
All right, thank you, Craig. Mr. Esther, Police Chief.
Okay, for the month of June, the police department answered 296 complaints, took 6 sites and no injuries. Issued 96 citations, made 41 arrests. 8 drug arrests were made, 2 cases was turned over to the DA's office. The city collected $850 from city court. The police jury collected $6,618. And the police department collected $2,550.
Thank you, Chief.
Hey, how we look at the dog? Where we at with the dog?
Well, it was, we were too late in doing it, so we missed out on this last one. Next one will be available till maybe October.
Okay.
Mr. Chris, Fire Chief.
Fire report for the month of June, we ran 13 calls, 8 inside the city limits, 3 outside the city. 2 of those were mutual aid calls, consisted of 1 trash fire, 1 vehicle fire, 1 fire alarm, 3 auto accidents, 1 water rescue, 3 hazardous conditions, 1 medical emergency, 1 smoke scare. To reiterate what Councilman Smith said, I would recommend that the city send Tunica Biloxi Tribe a thank you letter for the generous donations that they gave them followers.
Mr. Chris, we had an accident at the yard where there's a truck that caught on fire. There were some fire extinguishers there available or whatever, from what I understand. but nobody knew how to use them. Can y'all go ahead and give those guys a crash course? I think Rondell, I thought we wouldn't have any problem with it. In case something ever happens like that again, to where they know how to use a fire extinguisher to prevent what happened that day. It could have got ugly if the fire would have hit those gas tanks.
Sure, there was oil tanks, diesel and gasoline. And I spoke to the city manager about giving a little demonstration on how to use fire extinguishers, what to do, what not to do.
We got a
I
couple of
appreciate what y'all did because y'all saved the building.
Yeah.
We have a couple of people that's always on the yard,
We're
correct?
gonna get together and I want it citywide,
Okay.
all employees. We're gonna do it week after next.
Okay.
We will be being out next week. But it's gonna be then all of the employees that work outside, I want it citywide. It's just like it happened there, it could happen at any other.
Chris, I have a question. Were there fire extinguishers particularly made for stuff like this, like inside of a shop with vehicles and gas and diesel? There are some specially made for that?
Yes.
I think we need to look into getting a couple of those and put in that shop.
Well, I asked, city manager, and there's supposed to be 3 that were in the shop, correct, Mitch? There's supposed to be 3 that were in there. Why they weren't utilized, I don't know. I was told that there was cameras in the shop. I didn't get to verify that to see if there's any footage of exactly what happened and where the fire extinguishers were located from the area of ordinance. We were gonna look into that, and while we're talking about fire extinguishers, all of the fire extinguishers for the city are due for inspection. So the company will be here tomorrow doing inspections on all of the fire extinguishers in the city of Marksville, every department. So every department head, please check and be sure that all of your vehicles have at least a 2.5-pound fire extinguisher in it. If not, we need to see about getting some.
Along with that, Chris, whenever they go out and make sure you or one of your guys are there, that way we can see exactly where each and every one of these fire extinguishers are at. That way we know for a fact that they're taken care of.
Every vehicle should have at least a 2.5-pound extinguisher.
So, Chris, at the yard, at the buildings, are there clear markers that indicate where these fire extinguishers are placed? I know majority of the council was out at the yard a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and that was actually the day of the fire.
Same day.
Yeah, well,
We had a barbecue for the employees, and I asked if the food had gotten cooked over the truck or if it had gotten cooked in the barbecue pit. Councilman Friels and myself walked the yard while we were there that day. And Rondell, I guess I'm saying this, but I'm going to direct this to you. We went into the shop where the truck caught on fire, and the barn part that's connected to that, where the tractors and the skid steer are parked, and even around the part where the truck was, there is so much junk on the ground, just things that need to be picked up and thrown away, because that becomes a secondary hazard in the event we do have an incident like that. If we have an accumulation of old street barrels and barricades and whatnot that's just on the ground, and we have some type of incident where, if God forbid, there's something explodes or catches on fire and people are trying to get away from it and fall over these things. I think that we can be proactive as it relates to the condition of the area.
This is supposed to be taken care of. We were written up in that department 2 years ago when we did inspection, and we just got everything cleared this past year. It takes a year. It's always a year behind. And I know definitely it had fire extinguishers there. They were clearly marked in areas that LWCC superiors came down with those foot.
Yeah.
Everything that's in that shop, I'm not there every day.
Sure.
I have too much to do to just stand and babysit somebody. That's grown men and women that work there. It's not kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they have supervisors.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if I have to go there and check every day, why do we need a supervisor?
Sure.
So, I'm just saying, that department was rolled up 2 years ago. We just cleared it last year.
Rondell, the only thing I'm gonna ask on that is the next time when we have a rainy day, that way we can start removing some of that stuff from around there. I mean, instead
It
of.
needs to be done like tomorrow.
Well, correct. Correct, but instead of,
I'm only saying, we have inspection coming up next week. That's why Chris is getting these things done, and they're going to look at fire extinguishers at the water department. They're targeting the water department this year.
Claude.
make it happen.
I just want to say, Rondell, I don't want your job.
I want to go for Friday.
Thank you.
Right, Chris?
No way.
I got, Mayor, Chris, if you write the letter, I'll hand deliver it for you. For the thank you letter, I'll hand deliver it.
Is the mayor and council in agreement on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, letter to the trial.
No problem.
Yes, indeed.
That's all I have, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Klein?
On the month of June, clearing lots of grass and lots. And my supervisor gets with me. Many tree branches have fallen and we're taking care of them. The manhole on Washington Street, we have a lot of problems with it. And they was telling me this week it's gonna be fixed. And we're gonna go out and fix it, is that right? The manhole on Washington Street. You told me this week or
Yes,
the weekend.
Sunday, we're gonna be soft cutting. I'll be out next week. When I get back, we'll be doing it on Saturday morning. The state asks us to do it on the weekend because of the businesses and the bank being right there. But we're gonna pour it and open the road the same day. We want it open back up. I have to pick up a state sign from the barn that says road closed. We're gonna be picking that up. My guys will get it next week. So you'll see them out there Sunday. That's what they're doing there, cutting the road and getting it ready for the following.
Cold mix as needed, animal count 9, which is full. That's all I have.
Thank you, Claude.
So, hey, that shed, whoever's in there, whenever they have downtime tomorrow, let's get all of that stuff, and start picking it up.
What I'm about to recommend, tomorrow is, Thursday, right? Yeah. Take Freddie and his guy and, I want it all removed tomorrow. Just keep them out there unless you make a pass and something has to be done in the district, my district, for them. Let them get that first. Then I want them back on the yard, load it, and take it to the dump or the Dagger Pond.
Where you gonna move all this stuff?
That's what I'm saying, take it to the dump or Dagger Pond.
I heard about some barrels. Those barrels left after y'all had the dinner to the casino. We always donate the barrels for trash and we bring them back. They call them, they come pick them up. We're gonna figure something out.
The way to store them.
But what Mr. Carl and Mr. Torrey were referring to was,
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about trash barrels, I was talking about traffic barrels that look like they've been run over by.
We have a designated area for that. By the dog. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, if they're no longer used anymore, where are y'all gonna dump them? Do y'all bring them to the dump? Or
We
what?
still use those barrels. Those barrels are expensive. So we gotta have that from time to time.
Well, I mean, what are they talking about? I mean,
No, the caution, those caution barrels,
Yeah.
the big round caution
yeah,
barrels.
I understand.
Yeah, but there was.
Some of them are mashed up.
Yeah.
And if it's mashed, we pick them up off the road.
Yeah,
And it don't necessarily be ours, but we will pick them up.
But why leave them in the yard?
Well, we're gonna take care of that in the morning.
Well,
Maybe get the mechanic before he leaves in the, in the afternoon, take an hour and pick up his tools and put them where they belong and.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Cause I got a habit of that, when I'll use something, I'll leave it there, I'll put it where I'll use it.
Mr. Shaw?
I'll send y'all pictures. I'll make it my business. And it's not to leave more than my tomorrow.
Thank you, Rondell. So, thank you.
In the month of June, we picked up 66 bags of litter on all state roads. District 1, we had 15. District 2, 30. District 3, 39. District 4, 21. And District 5, 25, for a total of 196 bags of litter.
And I'd like to thank y'all for helping the casino clean up the mess that was done for the 4th of July.
It was,
Yeah,
I had 5 of them come out and
yeah,
they got with it.
yeah, appreciate it.
All I ask y'all, just, watch the heat.
Oh, we have.
Be careful. Not just y'all, all of the employees, watch the heat.
Mr. Rondell?
All I have, the sewer is still doing some work. Pipe view, I'll give you all an update for the next meeting. We got a special meeting. We didn't get all the footage back yet, but that's for the area in Shenandoah. I'll give you all an update for the special meeting. The first week in August, we're gonna have a defensive driving for safety for LWCC. They're gonna have the mobile unit out here. All employees will be required to do it. All employees. So
What day is that, Brenda?
It's gonna be the first week in August. I don't know what day yet. They're coming down to the first week in August. They'll have the mobile unit is gonna be between City Hall and the police station.
Thank you, Rondell.
All right, now next week I will be out. I'll leave Sunday, I'll be back Friday. I'll be in Lake Charles all week at conference.
So we just gonna shut the city down next week?
No. Now, I would like to ask, we have supervisors in every department. I'm over the sewer. I'd like to make Bryce Thomas my assistant supervisor when I'm going.
Well, I was just about to ask you that very same question.
Only because what's going on with DEQ, I've been having DEQ down here a lot from all the stuff going on in Shenandoah, and he's my go-to guy. He knows everything, and I have him and another young man that's going to be doing some training.
Make a motion.
So if we have any calls, just call up Bryce.
Call Bryce.
So you did that permanent, right?
That's going to be permanent.
Can you provide us with a phone number for him, please?
Yes, I will.
Rondell, I don't see bumpers here. I'd like you just to mention how good of a job they did installing that new fire hydrant on Bolton Street.
They
The
did.
town was out of water for what, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours.
On that fire hydrant, you're gonna have to, Buck was not here. He had to, he's in training this week, especially. They're gonna have to go back and do that, redo that fire. It's actually,
Rondell, I want to ask this, and I'm sure the council wants to do the same. When there's a big break, instead of shutting the town down in the middle of the day, you had some people there with the kidney dialysis place that were panicking about getting things done over there. Can y'all just, even though we have to pay overtime, can we do it later in the evenings when the businesses have shut down?
what they're gonna do now, Mayor, is they can do it early in the morning. They'll do it early or late in the afternoon if we have to shut everything down. Only reason the kidney didn't want us to do it the next morning was because it was 4th of July. They were trying to get all their patients in.
Correct.
They had some going as early as 5:30 that morning.
But all the businesses in town suffer.
All the business.
All the
yeah.
restaurants and stuff.
That's right.
If we shut it down in the middle of the
What
day.
time would that be?
It would be at daylight. Only
Because you
only if we
school
know it's
getting ready
gonna
to
be
start.
something quick where we can get the water on. And this is just for if we have to shut the whole city down. Now, this fire hydrant, we're hoping that we don't have to shut it down again. But this fire hydrant they just did, it's still leaking.
And what I asked, and I think the council wants to do the same, is to prevent shutting the whole town down in the middle of the day,
Yes.
just to repair something.
If they do a whole shutdown, it will be early in the morning or late in the afternoon.
So on that fire hydrant, can we do it, some type of shut-off valve for that? That way, next time we don't have to?
It didn't have a valve. And what's leaking now is it's leaking around.
Around the phone. So can we add one just in case we have
They
that issue?
will, when they do this, when they will.
Okay.
Thank you, Rondell.
All right.
May I make the
So you gotta make a
We'll wait
motion.
to go into the, I mean, he's gonna put him there for right now as temporary until we can do it.
So you made a motion to put Bryce?
Yeah, we can't do it.
I thought you
because
said it's permanent.
It is gonna be permanent, but we can't do that because it was not on the agenda and
He
we
can
can't say
make it
his
as his
name.
report, Tori. Make a motion, he can make it as report.
We can do it with the special meeting, but right now, I don't believe we can do that.
You're supposed to be specific on the agenda.
Yeah, we can do it for this.
Yes, we do it with a special meeting.
Yeah.
So do we need to do it for temporary?
No, not for temporary.
All right. Ms. Beverly?
Okay, for the month of June, we logged 46 meters, 32 have paid, 1 I made final, 2 is inactive, and 14 still owed. And do you want me to give Buckles this report?
You can if you have it.
Okay, for Buckles, the work orders, they had 166 work orders. They had 20 meters they had to run profile on and 8 leaks.
Thank you, Ms. Beverly. Appreciate it.
And also on Buffalo Mayor Council, they did, we got all, still having some issues with them. I think we had 17 pages of
Yeah.
rereads. Right now, they're in the process of starting to redo all the meters. We're gonna have a meeting with them as soon as we can get them all to work at one time. Because this is an ongoing thing, they can't have it not installed yet. So we're still getting a lot of people that have paid their bill popping up on the cutoff.
Thank you, Rondell. Mr. Johnson? Nothing. Need a motion to adjourn?
Me.
Second. Motion by Mike, second by Tony, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
They will.